Hello friends. Now in this session, we are going to discuss about environment monitoring under the environment management topic. So we know that what exactly monitoring means, and now we are discussing about the environment monitoring. So under environment, there are various parameters that should be monitored by each and every industry, and that is why there are some standards and guidelines given by the central, state government, and some IS standard as well as some other standards. So let us discuss one by one. There are different monitoring methods, that is ambient air monitoring, stack monitoring, effluent monitoring, etc. So the first monitoring is ambient air monitoring. So ambient air quality means it is the quality of air which is surrounding us in the outdoors. So air which is present outside the industry, outside the house, that is called as ambient air. So that is the air which is present in the atmosphere, in the ambience of our residential area, of our industry, of our office, that is called as ambient air. And we have to check the quality of that ambient air. That is why it is called as ambient air quality. Now, the monitoring point of view, we have to check the quality of this ambient air. That is why it is called as ambient air quality monitoring. And these systems and the guidelines are provided by the CPCB, that is Central Pollution Control Board. And the standards are called as NACS, that is National Ambient Air Quality Standards. So these are the standards for ambient air quality set by the CPCB, and it is applicable to the nationwide. And that is why it is the point is mentioned, that is national. So it is applicable to the national level. And these standards come into picture with reference to the Air Act 1981. So under the CPCB functions and their power, so these NACs are designed, and now in India, the NACs is applicable. What are the objectives of these air quality standards? The objectives are to indicate the levels of air quality necessary with an adequate margin of safety to protect the public health, vegetation, and property. So that is first objective, that they have to indicate the levels of air quality which is necessary for the public. So it is applicable for general public, and it is useful for public health, vegetation, and the property. That is why these standards are very much important. It is directly linked to the public. Then the second objective is to assist in establishing priorities for abatement and control of pollutant level. So we know that there are various pollutants which are available in the ambient air also. We know the sources and the treatment and controlling technologies for these pollutants, but still we have to check the level of this pollutant as per as the norms are concerned. So we have to control all these pollutants within the permissible limits. That is the second objective. Then the third objective is to provide the uniform yardstick for assessing air quality at national level. So there should be some uniform guidelines, uniform directions for assessing the air quality at national level. So when the comparison, when the quality check at the global level is concerned, then the quality of ambient air in India is this much. So for that purpose, we have to assess the air quality at different location, at different local locations. Then we have to calculate the quality of that particular region for a particular city, and then for particular state, and then for particular nation, that is for India. Then the next objective is to indicate the need and extent of monitoring program. So there is necessity, there are different or various programs which is required by the central government or the state government or some other apex bodies which needs this data about the air quality standards. Sometimes it is needed to check the public health. Sometimes it is needed to check the root cause analysis for a particular disease, especially when we are talking about the respiratory type of diseases. So if the apex bodies like WHO or IMA or national or state level medical associations required this data, then also we have to go for the monitoring programs. So if they required a specific location monitoring data, then we have to do that monitoring for that particular location. If they required overall city wise or state wise or the nation wise data, then we have to do the ambient air monitoring for overall India. So this is what about this ambient air quality, NACS, and the objectives of this quality standards. Now there are different recommended criteria, that is for siting monitoring stations. Now we have discussed about what exactly the ambient air quality is, what is meant by ambient air, what are the NACS or the standards, who is giving the guidelines regarding the standards, what are the objectives. Now, how to perform this monitoring? So in this monitoring, we have to set different stations. So from these stations, we have to take or collect the different data, that is the pollutant data, that is the permissible levels. Then we have to compare the actual or received data with the permissible levels, and then we have to supply this data to the government bodies or the apex body. The source for this monitoring station siting is IS 5182 part 14 2000. So in this IS standards, it is clearly mentioned that these are the different station types. You can use this station type depending on your requirement. So for example, type A station, that is downtown pedestrian exposure stations. So this station means this is the located stations in the central urban area, in a congested area, downtown street surrounded by building where many pedestrians walk. Average daily travel on the street should exceed 10,000 vehicles with average speed of less than 6.7 meter per second. And monitoring probe is to be located 0.5 meter from the curb at a height of 3 plus minus 0.5 meter. So this is the location, and this is the type A station where we need the ambient air quality data from the central urban area which is congested. So from the explanation you can understand, if there are 10,000 plus vehicles are moving with this average speed, it means it is congested place. There are various buildings surrounding this area and the traffic is also more. So if you want to check the ambient air quality standards where this much building, this much population, this much vehicles are there, then what exactly the ambient air quality is. Because we have to check the public health data, we have to take some action related to this ambient air quality data if it is more than the permissible limits. So this is one of the station type, that is type A. The second type is type B, downtown neighborhood exposure station. Locate station in the central urban area, but not close to any major street. So it is located in the central urban area, but it is not close to the major street. So no national highway or state highway is there, but it is located in the urban area. Specifically, streets with average daily travel exceeding 500 vehicles. Now you can understand, as compared to type A, the vehicle movement and number of vehicles are less in this area. So in this type B, only 500 plus vehicles are there. And in the type A, 10,000 plus vehicles are moving. Then in this type B, it is located at least 100 meter away from the monitoring stations. Then typical locations are parks, malls, or landscape areas having no traffic. So these are the different areas which may be located in the urban area, but having less traffic. Probe height is to be 3 plus minus 0.5 meter above the ground. So from this probe itself, the area, the air which is going to absorb through this probe point, and the particular height is clearly mentioned in the type A also. That is the from the curb at height 3 plus minus 0.5 meter. Now in this case also, the probe height is to be 3 plus minus 0.5 meter. So at that particular level, at that particular height only, the actual or the real data of that air quality can be absorbed. Then the type C is residential station. So from the name itself, it is clearly indicate that it is a residential area. So it may be a suburban area or it is purely a residential area. So this station should be more than 100 meter away from any street, having a traffic volume in excess of 500 vehicles per day, and the station probe height must be 3 plus minus 0.5 meter. So station probe height is similar, that is in type A, type B, and type C. But now in this type C, it is purely residential area or suburban area, and only 500 vehicles per day are moving. So very less traffic. Then type D, that is mesoscale station, that is located in the urban area at appropriate height to collect a meteorological and air quality data at upper elevations. Now it is a specific station where we have to collect a meteorological condition data, that is what exactly the airspeed is, what is the temperature, what is the humidity, what is the pollutant level like SOx, NOx, CO, CO2, etc. But that is from the meteorological condition point of view. So this is the data which is collected by the government normally, and then they are going to publish through the news or the publications. The purpose of this station is not to monitor human exposure, but to gather trend data and meteorological data at different height. So these typical locations are tall buildings, broadcast towers, the height of the probe along with the nature of the station. Location must be carefully documented in each case. So normally the tall buildings are having such types of stations to collect the meteorological data at a particular elevation. Then type E is related to the non-urban stations. So the name itself suggests that it is a non-urban area, no traffic and no industrial activity. The purpose of this station is to monitor the trend analysis for non-degradation assessment and for large-scale geographical surveys. So it is not for a particular program, but it is for a general assessment for a geographical surveys. The location or height must be changed during the period over which trend is examined. The height of the probe must be documented in each case, and the suitable height is again similar, that is 3 plus minus 0.5 meter. Then the next station type is type F, that is specialized source survey station. Again, the title itself clearly indicates that it is a special source survey station. So when a specific survey have to be done by the state or central government or a particular standard or body, then these types of station can be utilized for this type. So it is locate stations very near a particular air pollution survey scrutiny. The purpose of this station is to determine the impact on air quality at specified locations of a particular emissions source of interest, and the particular height is again 3 plus minus 0.5 meter unless special consideration of the survey requires non-uniform height. So these are the different station types and their specific purpose, why it is required, what exactly the conditions are, and then we can collect a specific and correct data from this probe. So these are the guidelines which is given under the NAAQS, that is National Ambient Air Quality Standards. Now we have discussed what exactly the ambient air quality is, what is the NAAQS, what is CPCB, what are the objectives, what are the station types as per the IS standards, and now we have to understand which parameters we have to check under this ambient air quality. So this table gives you the idea, the different parameters, that is nothing but the different pollutants which may be present in the ambient air. So the first parameter is sulfur dioxide, SO2. Now, if you observe the time weighted average, that is annual average and 24 hours average. So annual average is from the industrial area point of view, the concentration in ambient air is 80 microgram per meter cube. For the residential area or rural area or other areas, that is 60, and for the sensitive areas, that is 50. So from the row itself, you can understand in the industrial area, the concentration in ambient air for the SO2 is allowed more as compared to the residential and sensitive area. Likewise, in the residential, rural and other areas, it is allowed as compared to the sensitive area. So 80, 60 and 15, the number itself gives you the idea. So the sensitive area may be the hospitals, maybe the schools, etc. Then in a similar way, if you observe for the 24 hours average, the SO2, the industrial area concentration is 120 microgram per meter cube. Then for residential and other areas, 80. And for sensitive area, it is 30. So likewise, you can go through this table. For the NO2, that is oxides of nitrogen, that is 80, 60, 15 for annual average, and 120, 80, 30 for 24 hours. Then the next pollutant is SPM, that is suspended particulate matter. So the particulate matter which can be suspended in the ambient air, that is called as suspended particulate matter. So this is SPM 360, 140, 70 for annual average, and 500, 200 and 100, that is for 24 hours average. Then the next pollutant is respirable particulate matter, size less than 10 micrometer, the 120, 60, 50 and 150, 100, 75. So this is important from the public health point of view, because this can be respirable matters and which can be absorbed through the respiration of the people or the animals. Now, if it is respirable and the size is very less, then it can be deposited in your lungs. And that is why we have to take care about this respirable suspended particulate matter. Then the heavy metals like lead, 1.75 and 0.5, annual average 1.5, 1 and 0.75 microgram per meter cube, 24-hour average. Likewise, carbon monoxide, that is 5 to 1 and 10 4 2. So this is the 8 hours average and 1 hour average, not the annual and 24-hour. Now please observe this. Carbon monoxide is the toxic gas and it can be directly react with the hemoglobin and which can create carboxyhemoglobin instead of oxyhemoglobin. And that is why we have to take care about this carbon monoxide in terms of hours rather than the 24 hours or annual average. Then ammonia, 0.1 mg per meter cube and 24-hour 0.4 mg per meter cube. So lead is also poisonous. Ammonia is a toxic and pungent, and carbon monoxide is toxic and poisonous. So these are the different pollutants which is mentioned under this NAAQS. So there are different methods of measurement. Nowadays, the methods are sophisticated one, but the general methods are improved West and Geck method and ultraviolet fluorescence for the SO2. Then Jacob and Hosier modified NaOH and NaSO2 method. Then gas phase chemiluminescence method, that is for NO2. Then high volume sampling, that is for SPM. And then respirable particulate matter sampler for RSPM. Then atomic absorption and spectroscopy, that is method for the sampling using EPM 2000 or equivalent filter paper, that is for lead. And non-dispersive infrared spectroscopy can be utilized for carbon monoxide. So these are the different methods of measurement, that is for measuring these types of pollutant under this NAAQS.